Go, Dave Barry. And by the way, Mr. Goldstone, you wrote about your, colonoscopy. I think you preceded Dave Barry.
I preceded. It's a topic that most writers probably write about, but don't necessarily publish.
Yeah.
But, it is not, I would say, of the tests that you could possibly have, it's not one that you put high on your list as.
But would you say, though, and I've had it, but would you say that it's overly? People fear that test more than they should?
No, it's everything that it's cracked up to be. I'm sorry, that's a bad use of
the word.
But
yes, it certainly
nonetheless.
is. Okay.
But the more difficult test is one called it's an upper endoscopy.
That's when they go.
That's when.
Through your
I had an endoscopy actually before I had a colonoscopy, and I had it at one of the hospitals in town. They wanted to look in. They wanted to peer inside without having to actually, split me open like an oyster. So I'm in this room. I'm the GI part of the hospital, and they put me in this gown, and now they're going to look down my throat. Now they give me a little bit of anesthesia. They put this little this thing in my hand,
right.
and as I'm beginning to kind of grog out a little bit, I was talking with the nurse before the doctor came in, and I see this long thing that looks like a garden hose with the spray nozzle on it.
Something you don't want to see.
I don't want to see it, and I said, that's the device, and she said, yeah. I said, and you slid that down my throat, and it feels a little bit like you're being strangled, but from the inside.
Nice.
And I said, is that the device? And she said, yes. And I said, by the way, the GI, so you do really the upper and the lower here? And she said, yeah. And I said, I pray you use two different instruments. So anyway, that was my endoscopy. Now I go back. I've had anyone who's over 40. Yeah, I've had a couple of times when I have been invaded. Mm-hmm. And the last time I went in, they gowned me up. They took my pants, so you can't leave.
Can't leave.
They take your pants,
right.
And then okay, I'm here for the duration. And I'm in this room, and I said to the doctor, I do not want to be anywhere near conscious, because sometimes they keep you a little bit away. I said and the doctor said. Well, and it kind of, in a demeaning but clever way, he said, all right, how much anesthesia do you want? And I said, well, what I would prefer that you do is calculate the amount of anesthesia you would give me that would put me into an irreversible coma, and then just ratchet it back a little bit.
Oh my goodness!
But anyway, no, I'm in there, and now they're saying we put two things in your body that'll conk you out. The first one will make you a little bit more relaxed, and then the second one will put you out. So the nurse comes by, and she has this IV in my hand, and she squirts a syringe of stuff into the IV. And she pulls it out. Now she's ready to the second one. She puts it in. And I remember saying, okay, now when does this start?
Yes, you go under so fast.
And then the next thing I knew, it's very strange. Anesthesia is a very different thing than, when you fall asleep, you wake up and there's been a period of time that has passed.
Right. Not with anesthesia. No. It's like you were abducted by aliens. My son, when he had his wisdom teeth out recently, the dentist remarked, my God, he's never seen anyone last that long before they go under. You count back from 100.
Yeah.
He counted back to like 88 or 89. Most people get to 95 and they're gone.
I think I was 100. It's funny. We become Jerry Lewis.
We really do.
No, well, we were just talking about anesthesia, and I thought of two things. One is, when you're under anesthesia for that kind of test that we were talking about, how do you even know they gave you the test? They could be just billing you. This could be the biggest fraud, medical fraud. But the one that I love is is when this conscious sedation now that they're
dentistry
talking,
and all that.
Here's the scenario: you have a procedure, and you say, all right, maybe I pay, and we pay you cash, and you pay, and then since you forget. On the way out, they say, would you like you to pay for this?
Yes, conscious sedation.
And you could pay for the same procedure 3, 4, 5 times.
You really could. Boy, you have a very conspiratorial mind. That's why we like you.
That's why I'm here.
Thank you so much for a delightful evening, Chuck Goldstone. It's
always fun.
ChuckGoldstone.com. What's the name of the book again?
This book is not a toy-friendly advice on how to avoid death and other inconveniences.
Thank you. Normally just rattle it off, but I was reading.
It's been a long night.
I was reading Leviticus earlier, okay,
which it's often confused with, by the way.
Yes. Thank you to Vanessa. Great job. Thank you to John at WCCO, and I'll be back next week, I think. And until then, be well so you can do good. Good night. Good morning. God bless you, and God bless America. Take care.